Creating high-quality environments. Children's growth and development are continually being shaped and influenced by their environment. Growth is enhanced through nurturing and responsive caregiving, a healthy diet, homes and schools that are clean and safe, access to appropriate dental and health care, and communities that are free of drugs, violence, excessive traffic, and air pollution. Opportunities for learning, experiencing new challenges, and positive social interaction promote children's intellectual and psychological development. For these reasons, all aspects of children's environments must be given careful consideration so they provide physical, cognitive, and psychological conditions that have positive effects on children's growth and development. Here are the learning objectives of this lesson. After studying this chapter, you should be able to discuss how to identify high-quality programs, explain how licensure and registration of early childhood programs differ, identify the features of high-quality programs, and discuss how teachers' educational preparation affect children's development. Lastly, describe at least 10 ways to make children's indoor and outdoor environment safe. Locating high-quality programs. Families have undergone many changes, and as a result, they often must rely on out-home arrangements for childcare. Some families simply want their children to benefit from enrichment experiences and opportunities to socialize with their peers. Others may enroll children with special developmental needs in early intervention programs where they can receive individualized learning experiences and special services such as speech or physical therapy, according to Allen and Cowdery, 2009. Older children may require a safe educational place to stay before and after regular school hours. Regardless of the reason, families often find it challenging to locate high-quality and affordable programs. As a result, new programs are continuously being opened to meet increased demand, but quality is not always a priority. Research continues to demonstrate that high-quality programs make a difference in children's development and family relationships, according to Stallman and Pianta, 2009, Rivera, 2008. Although most families would prefer to have their child in an excellent program, the urgency and at times desperation of simply finding an available opening may force them to overlook this important issue. Cost and location considerations may understandably overshadow a family's concern about quality. Children enrolled in high-quality care show long-term gains in language and cognitive skills, improve readiness for school, and fewer problems behavior. According to Adi Japa and Klein, 2009, Deering, McCartney, and Taylor, year 2009. It is also true that many families simply do not know how to determine the quality of a program, or even what features to look for. Some parents feel uncomfortable questioning teachers. Others may not be able to find a convenient, high-quality program in their area, even when they are dissatisfied with poor conditions in a current arrangement. Educating families. Researchers have identified 3 characteristics common to high-quality early childhood programs, according to Newman and Cunningham in year 2009. Small group size, low teacher-child ratio, fewer children per teacher, teachers who have advanced educational training in early childhood. Advocacy groups and professional organizations have launched initiatives to help educate families about the characteristics associated with excellence in early childhood programs. Families can also retrieve similar information from professional websites. Additional areas that should also be noted include physical facilities, clean, safe, spacious, licensed. Program philosophy, developmentally appropriate goals and objectives, nutritious meals and snacks, opportunities for family involvement, respectful of diversity, toys and educational activities, developmentally appropriate, variety, adequate in number, organized, learning experience. And lastly, health services. Educating families about how to recognize high quality in programs has obvious benefits for children. And as demand for quality increases, programs that fail to improve their services may be forced out of business. Resource and referral services. Families can request a list of available openings based on their specific childcare needs, such as location, cost, preferred hours, philosophy, and child's age. Many communities have resource and referral agency devoted to helping families locate center and home-based early childhood programs, as well as before and after school care. Resource and referral agencies in many areas play an active role in educating families about how to select an early childhood program. They are also vocal advocates for improved program quality and are committed to providing in-service training for early childhood teachers. Consequently, families must spend time investigating individual programs to find one that best suits their needs and personal preferences. Professional accreditation. Accreditation is the process of certifying an individual or program as having met certain specified requirements. A national system of voluntary accreditation for early childhood programs was established in 1985 by the National Association for Education of Young Children, or NAEYC. Its primary objective is aimed at promoting excellence and improving the quality of early education through a process of self-study. The accreditation process identifies and recognizes outstanding early education programs and provides an added credential that recognizes their commitment to quality. Programs are accredited for 3 years, at which time they must reapply. A number of organizations, including Head Start, the National Association for Family Childcare, or NAFCC, and the National After School Association, have developed similar endorsement plans to recognize outstanding programs. Several states have also begun to develop their own quality standards and voluntary accreditation systems. Reflective thoughts. Families are often faced with difficult choices when they try to locate childcare options. Although efforts to improve the quality of early education programs continue, it is well known that not all programs reflect excellence. What does the literature suggest about how families select childcare? What features distinguish high quality in early childhood programs? How can communities work together to improve the overall quality of care provided in the area. Lastly, what efforts are needed to improve accessibility to high-quality care for all children? Licensing. Licensing standards are established by individual states. Licensing requirements serve a twofold purpose. First, they are aimed at protecting children's physical and psychological well-being by regulating environmental and program safety. Second, licensing regulations support minimal protection to the program and its personnel. They reflect an attempt to ensure that early childhood environments are safe, appropriate, and helpful for young children. However, these regulations reflect only minimal health and safety requirements and also vary considerably from one state to another, according to Gupta et al., year 2009. Let us define some terminologies. Licensing. It is the act of granting formal permission to conduct a business or profession. Regulations. Standards or requirements that are set to ensure uniform and safe practices. Compliance. The act of obeying or cooperating with specific requests or requirements. Registration. The act of placing the name of a child care program on a list of active providers usually does not require on-site inspection. Obtaining a license. A license permits an early childhood program to operate on a routine basis. As previously mentioned, the process for obtaining a license differs from state to state. However, the steps described here are generally representative of the procedures involved. In some cases, the process may require considerable time and effort, especially if major renovations must be made to the proposed facility. For others, approval may be obtained in a reasonably short time. Persons interested in operating an early childhood or after-school program should first contact their state or local licensing agency. These inspections are usually conducted by personnel from the local fire and public health departments. From these inspections, it is possible to determine what, if any, renovations may be necessary to comply with licensing regulations. Buildings that house early childhood programs must also pass a variety of inspections to be sure they meet fire, safety, and sanitation codes. Application for a permanent license can be made once all the steps have been completed. Let's talk about features of high-quality programs. Researchers are continually studying children in schools, home, and center-based programs to determine what conditions and experiences are best for promoting learning and healthy development. Through the years, they have identified several key components that distinguish high-quality programs from those considered to be of mediocre or poor value, according to Bice and Hollingstorm 2009 and Mashburn et al. 2008. First is teacher qualifications. Teachers who have a strong background in a child development, value family involvement and communication, understand and respect diversity, and know how to create developmentally appropriate experiences are more effective in facilitating positive learning outcomes for children, according to Eced 2010. Perhaps one of the weakest areas in many state licensing regulations pertain to staff qualifications. Emphasis is usually focused on the safety of physical settings, while staff requirements such as years of experience, educational preparation, and personal qualities are often lacking or poorly defined. What are the qualifications of Teacher 1 in Department of Education here in the Philippines? First is the CSC Form 212, revised 2017 into copies with the latest 2x2 ID picture. Certified photocopy of PRC, Professional Identification Card, or a PRC certification showing the teacher's name, let rating, and other information recorded in the PRC office. Certified photocopy of ratings obtained in the Licensure Examination for Teachers or LET, Professional Board Examination for Teacher or PBET. Certified copy of transcript of records, copies of service records, performance rating, and school clearance for those with teaching experience. If unavailable, the applicant must submit a justification citing the reasons for unavailability. Certificates of specialized training if there's any. Certified copy of the voter's ID and or any proof of residency as deemed acceptable by the school screening committee. NBI clearance and omnibus certification of authenticity and veracity of all documents submitted, signed by the applicant. Source, DepEd Order Number 7, Series 2015. Next features is staffing ratios. Staff or child ratios are determined by individual states and typically reflect only the minimal number of adults considered necessary to protect children's well-being, according to Fisela and Kitzman's 2009. Ideally, high-quality early childhood programs provide one full-time teacher for every 7 to 8 children 3 to 6 years of age. Programs serving children with developmental disabilities should have one teacher for every 4 to 5 children depending on the age group and severity of their needs. If children younger than 2 years are included, there should be at least one full-time teacher for every 3 to 4 children. A list of substitutes should also be available in the event of teacher illness or other absence. Research suggests that small group size and low teacher-child ratios improve the quality of educational experiences that children receive. However, low ratios do not always guarantee that children will be safer, according to Gamble, Ewing, and Wilhelm 2009. Teachers who are part of high-quality programs practice lifelong learning by attending professional meetings, in-service programs, workshops, and college classes. These experiences promote continued professional growth and competence by exposing teachers to new concepts, ideas, and approaches. They also provide teachers with opportunities to discuss common problems, share ideas, and discover unique solutions. This is especially important for teachers working in home-based programs who may have limited interaction with other early childhood educators. Next is the group size and composition. When a license is issued to an early childhood program, specific conditions and restrictions under which it is allowed to operate are clearly defined. These conditions usually spell out ages of children that can be enrolled, group size per classroom, maximum enrollment program, special population of children to be served, example, children with behavior problems, children with developmental disabilities, infants, and school age. Group size is also recognized as an important indicator of high-quality programs according to NAEYC 2009. For this reason, restrictions are typically placed on the number of children a program is permitted to enroll. This figure is determined by the amount of available space, children's age, and any special needs children may have, as well as the number of teachers on site. Programs' educational philosophy and range of services provided should be described in its admission policies. The age range, special needs, and total number of children that a program is licensed to serve must also be clearly stated to avoid parent misunderstanding. The benefits children derive from participating in high-quality early childhood programs have been consistently documented. Deering, McCartney, and Taylor 2009, Burkinal and Pryor 2003. It is essential that developmentally appropriate practices or DAP, learning environments, and enriching opportunities be provided. Developmental appropriate practices or DAP, these are the learning experiences and environments that take into account children's individual abilities, interests, and diverse needs. DAP also reflects differences among families and values them as essential partners in children's education. Program curriculum, high-quality early education programs plan learning experiences that address children's needs across all developmental areas, including physical, cognitive, emotional, social, language, self-care, and motor. Curriculum delivery and content should be designed to address children's interests and to help them acquire new skills. Alternating activities that involve active and quiet play reduces the risk of children becoming overly fatigued and or of losing interest. For example, a vigorous walk outdoors may be followed by a teacher-directed flannel board story or a puppet show. It is also important to post daily activity schedules and lesson plans where families can see what children will be doing throughout the day. Health services. Safeguarding children's health and well-being is a fundamental responsibility of teachers and school administrators, according to Fisela and Ketzmann's 2009 and APHA and AAP 2002. Only when children are healthy can they fully benefit from everyday experiences and learning opportunities. High-quality programs take this role seriously and address children's health needs by having written policies and procedures, maintaining comprehensive health and safety records, training personnel to administer first aid and emergency care, developing emergency response plans, and planning for health, safety, and nutrition education. Basic records that programs should maintain include children's health assessments, attendance, emergency contact information, fire and earthquake drills, injuries, and developmental profiles. Teachers in high-quality early childhood programs are trained to handle emergency and provide first aid and emergency care to ill or injured children. Here are the principles of emergency preparedness. Remain calm, do not panic. Be informed, tune in a local station on your battery-powered radio. Get to a safe place. Develop and practice an appropriate disaster plan. Keep a first aid kit, bottled water, and flashlight handy. Take along children's health forms, emergency contact information, attendance records, and a cell phone. Lastly, learn basic emergency and first aid procedures. Here are an example of emergency contact information. These plans should also be shared with families so they know what to expect in the event of an emergency and can also use them to model similar procedures at home. Guidelines for safe environment. Nowhere is health and safety important than in group programs serving young children. When families enroll children in a program, they expect that the teachers will safeguard their child's well-being. They assume the facilities, toys, and equipment will be safe for children's use. That teachers will carefully supervise their children's activities, that the environment is clean, and that the food is healthy. These expectations require teachers to be well-informed and knowledgeable about how to create and maintain environments that protect and promote children's health and safety. Indoor safety. A safe environment encourages children to explore and learn through play, and is also less stressful for adults to work in, according to the Shipper et al. 2009. Building and site location. Location is always important to consider when selecting an appropriate site. Buildings should be located away from heavy traffic, excessive noise, air pollution, animals, exposure to chemicals, bodies of water, large equipment, and other similar hazards to protect children's health and safety. A great deal of thought and preparation is needed to create rooms that are safe for young children. Everything from the traffic flow, placement of furniture, and choice of floor coverings to the design of changing tables and proper storage requires careful study. Knowledge of children's abilities at each stage of development plays a key role in anticipating and eliminating potential safety hazards. Space. The arrangement of space or basic floor plan should be examined carefully to determine the ease of conducting specific activities. For example, the traffic flow should allow ample room for children to arrive and depart without disturbing others who are playing. It should also accommodate separate areas for active or noisy play and quiet activities. Small rooms that lack storage space, adequate lighting, accessible bathrooms, or suitable outdoor play areas are inconvenient and frustrating for the staff and children. Play spaces for infants and toddlers should be separated from those of older children to avoid injuries, confrontations, and the spread of illness. Large, open space that is free of obstacles encourages young children to move about and explore without hesitation. Building security. Added precautions should be taken to protect children from unauthorized individuals while ensuring that families and legitimate visitors have safe access. Buildings and outdoor play spaces should be evaluated carefully to determine if they are secure. Safety measures such as locking outside doors and gates, installing keypads, or issuing card keys, such as used in hotels, can be implemented to control unauthorized visitors. Teachers and staff members should always be alert to persons entering the building and acknowledge their presence by making a point to greet them. Surveillance cameras can also be installed to monitor entrances and exits. Programs should develop and review plans for handling unauthorized visitors and summoning assistance in the event of an emergency. Time to reflect. As adults, we often take great efforts to create environments and rules that will protect children from harm. Yet, it can be perplexing to understand why children continue to get themselves into situations that are unsafe. Why do you think this occurs? Are adults and children's expectations and perceptions the same? How do cultural differences affect one's definition of a safe environment? An inventory checklist planning for program security. Program administrators should work closely with local law enforcement, fire, and safety officials to assess a program risk and to develop security plans that will protect children and staff members. Critical documents should be prepared and stored in a designated folder or box. All program staff should be familiar with its location and contents for quick retrieval in the event of an emergency, such as fire, earthquake, hurricane, or unauthorized intruders. Items that should be addressed include obtaining a copy of the building floor plan or blueprint, preparing a list of employees by name and room, and attaching their photograph. Preparing a roster of the children by room and attaching their photograph. Note any children who have special needs. Knowing where all shut-off valves are located and how to turn them off. Preparing an evacuation plan with alternate exit routes. Posting evacuation plans in each classroom and reviewing them periodically with teachers. Conducting monthly evacuation drills with children. Maintaining hallways and exits that are clear of obstructions. Making copies of parent authorization forms and emergency contact information. Compiling a list of emergency personnel and telephone numbers. Assigning specific emergency responsibilities to individual personnel and outlining each role on a master plan. Informing families about the program security plans and including the information in parent handbooks. Lastly, keeping an emergency food supply on hand. Fire safety. Local fire officials can assist schools and in-home programs in the development and review of emergency procedures. They can be invited to tour the building layout and offer expert advice about planning efficient evacuation routes and notification procedures. Copies of the floor plan should be given to local fire authorities so they can familiarize themselves with the building. This will enable them to respond more efficiently in the event of a real emergency. Smoke and carbon monoxide detectors should be present in rooms occupied by children, especially where infants and young children will be sleeping. Detectors should be tested each month to make sure that they are functioning properly and batteries replaced annually, unless the system is wired. Teachers should conduct monthly fire drills with the children so they will become familiar with the routine and not be frightened in the event of a real emergency. Alternate evacuation routes should be planned and practiced so that teachers will know how to get out of a building if an area is blocked by fire. Plans for evacuating children with special needs should also be given careful attention. How to conduct a fire drill. First, develop an evacuation plan. Plan at least one alternate escape route for every room. Post a written copy of the plan by the door of each room. And review plans with new personnel. Second, assign specific responsibilities. Designate one person to call the fire department, preferably from a telephone outside of the building. Be sure to give the fire department complete information such as name, address, approximate location of the fire inside the building, whether or not anyone is inside. Do not hang up until the fire department hangs up first. Designate several adults to assemble children and leave them out of the building. Assign extra adults such as cooking or clerical staff to assist with evacuation of younger children. Designate one adult to bring a flashlight and the notarized emergency card or class keys. Lastly, designate one person to turn off the lights and close the doors to the rooms. Third, establish a meeting place. Once outside, meet a designated location so that everyone can be accounted for. Do not go back into the building. Fourth, practice fire evacuation drills. Conduct drills at least once a month. Plan some of these to be unannounced. Practice alternate routes of escape. Practice fire evacuation safety. For example, field closed doors before opening them. Select an alternate route if hallway or stairwells are filled with smoke. Stay close to the floor or crawl to avoid heat and poisonous gases. Learn the stop-drop-roll technique. Lastly, use a stopwatch to time each drill and records the results. Strive for improvement. Extension cords should not be used in the classrooms. All electrical outlets should be covered with safety caps, which can be purchased in most grocery or hardware stores. An electrician can replace conventional outlets with child-proof receptacles that do not require safety covers. However, remember that caps are only a temporary solution. They are frequently removed by teachers and cleaning personnel, not always replaced, and also pose a choking hazard for young children if they are left laying around. Bathroom facilities. Adequate bathroom facilities are also essential for convenience and health concerns. They should be accessible to both indoor and outdoor play areas. Installation of child-sized fixtures including sinks, toilets, soap dispensers, and towel racks allow children to care for their own needs. If only adult-sized fixtures are available, footstools, large wooden blocks, or platforms securely anchored to the floor will facilitate children's independence. Bathroom facilities. Hand-washing facilities located near toilets and sleeping areas encourage children and teachers to wash their hands when needed. Liquid or foam soap dispensers placed near sinks encourage hand washing, are easy for children to use, and are less likely to end up on the floor, just like what the bar soap is. The use of individual paper towels and cups improves sanitation and limits the spread of infectious illness. Light-colored paint on walls makes dirt area easy to notice and more likely to be cleaned. Fixtures such as mirrors, light switches, and towel dispensers placed within children's reach, adequate lighting, and bright paint create a functional and pleasant atmosphere in which young children can manage self-care skills. Surface and furnishings. Furniture and equipment should be selected to be comfortable and safe. Children are less likely to be injured if chairs and tables are appropriately proportioned and safely constructed. Items with sharp corners or edges should be avoided. Many manufacturers now construct children's furniture with rounded corners. Bookcases, lockers, pianos, and other heavy objects should be anchored securely to the wall or floor to prevent children from tipping them over. Tall bookshelves should be replaced or cut in half to scale them down to child size. Materials such as tile, plastics, and vinyl are ideal for wall and floor coverings because they are easy to clean. However, floors covered with any of these materials can become quite slippery when wet. Injuries can be avoided by taking extra precautions such as positioning non-skid rugs or newspaper where liquids are likely to be spilled and wiping off any spills immediately. Each child should have an individual storage space, hobby, or locker where personal belongings can be kept. A child's private space is particularly important in group settings where most other things are shared. Individual copies also help to minimize the loss of prized possessions and aid in controlling infectious illnesses that can be transmitted through direct and indirect contact. A telephone should also be located conveniently in the building and a list of emergency phone numbers, including the fire department, police, hospital, ambulance, and pollution control center, posted directly nearby. Here are some examples of teacher safety checklists for indoor and outdoor spaces. Continuation of the safety checklist for indoor and outdoor spaces. Checklist for outdoor areas. Next is the lighting and ventilation. Low windows and glass doors should be constructed of safety glass to prevent serious injuries if they are broken. Doors and windows should be covered with screens to keep out unwanted insects. Screens that can be locked also prevent children from falling out. Adequate lighting is essential in classrooms and hallways. Sunlight is also a free, sustainable resource that is known to have a positive psychological effect on children's and adults' moods, according to Denison et al. 2008. Natural light from windows and glass doors creates rooms that are bright, attractive, and inviting to teachers and children. Proper arrangement of artificial lighting is equally as important as the amount of brightness it produces. Areas of a room that are used for closed activities such as reading centers or art tables require more lighting. Compact fluorescent lights are ideal for this purpose because they give off more light, create less glare, and cost less to operate. Heating and cooling systems should be efficient and maintained annually. Hot radiators, exposed pipes, furnaces, fireplaces, portable heaters, or fans should not be accessible to children. If they cannot be removed, protective wire screening must be placed around them to prevent injuries. Indoor air quality. Every day, children are exposed to a variety of indoor air pollutants, including formaldehyde in carpet and building materials, carbon monoxide, radon, asbestos, cigarette smoke, paint fumes, lead, numerous household chemicals, and pesticides. Studies continue to demonstrate a close relationship between these pollutants and an increased rate of respiratory illnesses, allergies, and asthma among children, according to Salo, Sieber, and Seldin 2009. Because children's bodies are still growing and maturing, they are especially susceptible to the toxic chemicals found in these substances. Although it is impossible to avoid exposure to all toxic chemicals in an environment, increased awareness and understanding of control measures can be effective in reducing the health risk for children. Labels on toys and art materials should always indicate that they are non-toxic. Indoor air quality can be significantly improved by simply increasing ventilation, maintaining heating and ventilation systems, and avoiding the use of aerosol sprays around children. Many new alternative building materials and cleaning products, often labeled as green products or building green, are being manufactured without toxic chemicals. Information about green school initiatives, alternative cleaning products, and safer cleaning practices. Here are some common air pollutants and their health effects. Sources: organic particles such as dust mites, molds, pollen, carbon monoxide, formaldehyde, insulation such as asbestos and fiberglass, and ozone. The common health effects are chronic cough, headache, dizziness, fatigue, eye irritation, sinus congestion, skin irritation, shortness of breath, and nausea. Let's talk about outdoor safety. The outdoors presents an exciting environment for children's imaginative play and learning. It also offers important health benefits by encouraging children to be active. Studies continues to link time spent in active outdoor play with reduction in childhood obesity, diabetes, and behavior problems. However, children's outdoor play areas are also a major source of unintentional injury and therefore require a heightened awareness of design, maintenance, and supervisory strategies. Schools that use public parks for outdoor recreation should be particularly alert to safety hazards such as animal waste, needles, glass, and poorly maintained play equipment. Outdoor space. No less than 75 to 100 square feet of space per child using the area at the same time should be available to encourage active play and decrease the potential for unintentional injury. Safety must be a major consideration in the design of outdoor play areas. Safety performance standards recommend that play areas for infants include a minimum of 33 square feet per child. 50 square feet per child is suggested for toddlers. Ideally, play areas should be located adjacent to the building so that bathrooms are readily accessible and children are not required to walk long distances. Traveling even a short distance to playgrounds with young children requires considerable time and effort and often discourages spontaneous outdoor play. A fence at least 4 feet in height should surround the play area and include 2 exits with latch gates to prevent children from wandering away. Railings or slats should be spaced less than 3.5 inches or more than 9 inches apart to prevent children's head or bodies from becoming entrapped. Sharp wire and picket-type fences are inappropriate and should not be used around young children. Play areas should be arranged so that children are clearly visible from all directions. And always check with a local nursery or country extension office to be sure that flowers, trees, and other plantings are not poisonous to children. Let's talk now about the equipment. Each year, approximately 200,000 children under the age of 12 are treated in emergency rooms as a result of playground injuries, according to CPSC 2009. Equipment choices should be based on amount of available play space, age and developmental appropriateness, variety of learning experiences provided, quality and safety of construction. Accessibility to all children. According to NCA 2009, because most injuries involve play equipment, careful attention must be given to each selection, placement, and maintenance. Here are the general guidelines for purchasing outdoor play equipment. You need to consider the height of platforms and decks, railing present on all decks and platforms, the size of all openings, hardware such as S-hooks, materials used in construction, the type of surface material, the amount of area required for safe installation, and ladders that are set straight up and down. Surface materials. Protective materials that are soft and resilient should be placed under all play equipment and extend approximately 4 feet out in all directions to create an adequate fall zone. Here are the comparison of surfacing materials, the material advantages and their disadvantages. Continuation of the comparison of surfacing materials and their advantages and disadvantages. Continuation of the comparison of surfacing materials. Note that suggested materials depth are based on shock absorbency from falls of 6 feet, The source of this is the Handbook for Public Playground Safety, U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission in 2008. Let's talk about the maintenance. Hazardous conditions can often be spotted if outdoor play areas are inspected carefully each day before children begin to play. Equipment with broken pieces, jagged or sharp edges, loose screws or bolts or missing parts should be removed or made off limits to children. Lastly, frequent inspections of play areas can also reduce unintentional injury. For supervision, although individuals may go to great lengths to design attractive playgrounds and safe equipment, there is no substitution for first-rate supervision. Children must never be left unattended, and the younger they are, the more closely adults need to supervise their play. Families should always take time to visit any program before enrolling their children and attempt to answer some of the following questions. Does the environment appear to be clean, safe, and appealing to children? For example, are electrical outlets covered? Are sharp items stored out of children's reach? Is the carpet intact and free of snugs or stains? And do children wash their hands before eating? Is the program accredited or licensed? Do the children seem happy or under control? Are children encouraged in their efforts and allowed to express their feelings? Are teachers playing and talking with the children? Do they encourage children to help solve their own problems? Are children treated with respect and as individuals? Is the teacher's tone of voice warm and friendly versus harsh, demanding, or demeaning? Is there adequate adult supervision? Are there sufficient numbers of adults present who can respond to an injured child or a classroom emergency while ensuring the safety of other children? Are there a sufficient number and variety of toys and materials for all children to use, or must children wait for others to finish? Are items easily accessible to children? Is the food served to children nutritious, age-appropriate, and adequate in amount? If your child has food allergies, would his or her special needs be accommodated? Are weekly menus posted? Have the teachers been trained to work with young children? Do they appear to enjoy working with the children and take pride in their efforts? Are they knowledgeable about how to facilitate children's development and spot problems? Be sure to ask about their educational preparation and years of experience. Do you feel welcome and encouraged to ask questions? Are there opportunities for you to become involved in your child's classroom? Are learning experiences planned for children, or are they left to wander or watch television? Is a daily schedule of the children's activities posted for you to read? Do you agree with the program's philosophy, and is it appropriate for your child's needs? Lastly, have the program's policies been explained clearly, and are they acceptable to you? Here's the summary of our lesson. Locating high-quality child care that is available, affordable, and convenient can be challenging for families. The environment affects all aspects of children's growth and development. Children's environment require thoughtful planning. Licensing regulations and procedures reflect minimal standards and vary from state to state. However, they provide some assurance that children's health and safety will be protected. Not everyone agrees about how much regulation is necessary. Adhering to licensing regulation can help to protect children from potential claims of negligence. Location, security, fire safety, plumbing, surfaces, and furnishings, and air quality should be considered when planning children's indoor environment. Special attention should be given to space, play equipment, vegetation, surface materials, adult supervision, and transportation when planning outdoor play areas.